In the heart of the ancient Near East, a people known as the Hurrians carved out their own unique story that spans millennia. The term Hurrians not only represents a Bronze Age civilization but also the language that bound them together, persisting as the one constant thread across time and geography. The Hurrians flourished from the 4th millennium BCE to the 1st millennium BCE, leaving an indelible mark on the pages of history. Their epicenter was the Mitanni kingdom during the Bronze Age, where their culture thrived and fused with that of their neighboring Hittite conquerors. As the Late Bronze Age unfolded, the Hurrians gradually became intertwined with the cultures that enveloped them, but their legacy endured, echoing through the Urartu civilization and even sparking elements of myth in ancient Greece. Yet, defining the Hurrians with pinpoint precision proves as elusive as grasping smoke. Their identity, their chronology, and their geographical presence have all confounded historians. The Encyclopedia of Ancient History aptly encapsulates this quandary. Probably Hurry was originally the designation borne by the population group, which was then applied to the land they inhabited and the language they spoke. However, that population and that land were not precisely delimited in genealogical terms. Only the Hurrian language, which anyone could acquire, was a distinct and constant feature. Moreover, deciphering the Hurrian language presents its own set of challenges. It stands as an agglutinating language with ergative grammar, setting it apart from Indo-European and Semitic languages but sharing similarities with the Sumerian language. The Hurrian language was primarily recorded in cuneiform script, although some texts from Ugarit used the Ugaritic alphabet. This enigmatic culture has kept much of its history veiled in shadows, as highlighted by Professor Holger Gzeller, who notes that the origin of the Hurrians is unknown, just like much of their culture and society. Nevertheless, as ongoing excavations shed light on Hurrian cities like Urch in northeast Syria, we can hope for greater insights. We can glean a limited historical narrative by examining the cultures neighboring and contemporaneous with the Hurrians. The Hurrians have also been drawn into the contentious Aryan question, which posits that Aryans from Central Asia invaded and settled in the Near East. However, this theory lacks substantial evidence beyond a few Indo-Aryan linguistic terms that were incorporated into Hurrian. The argument for Aryan migration is further weakened by the presence of horses and chariots in the region before any proposed migration. While a handful of foreign gods in the Hurrian pantheon bear Indic names, their influence appears during the waning days of the Mitanni Empire, rather than during its inception, as one might expect in the case of a cultural invasion. The Hurrians remain an enigmatic culture, their history and origins shrouded in mystery. However, with each archaeological discovery, we draw closer to unveiling the secrets of this ancient civilization that left an indelible mark on the tapestry of human history. In the cradle of ancient civilization, a mysterious people known as the Hurrians embarked on a journey that spanned millennia. Their tale begins in the 4th millennium BCE, in the region encompassing the Upper Haber and Tigris rivers, reaching up to the formidable Taurus and Zagros mountains. This heartland of the Hurrians, especially around the enchanting Lake Van, became the stage for their remarkable story. Although textual evidence of the Hurrians only dates back to the mid-3rd millennium BCE, the archaeological record suggests that their culture likely stretched back even further, perhaps to the mid-4th millennium BCE. Known as the Hurri in ancient texts, they were also referred to as the Subatu or Subarians. In biblical texts, they emerge as the Horites, the descendants of the Hurrians in Canaan. Urch, an ancient city, holds a prominent place in this saga, for it was here that the earliest inscriptions of the Hurrian language were discovered. Evidence of the worship of Hurrian gods and the presence of personal names associated with this culture can be found in other Mesopotamian city-states like Kab and Nagar. The Hurrian story takes an intriguing turn as they thrived and expanded across Upper Mesopotamia starting from the 4th millennium BCE. Their expansion was far from simple, involving a complex interplay of migration, mercenary bands in the service of local city-states, and the rise of warlords. Eventually, this culminated in a full-scale migration of Hurrian herding tribes from the mountains to the fertile river valleys. However, their adaptability and inclination to adopt the culture of the city-states they conquered made them elusive in the historical record. There's a distinct absence of evidence of a distinctive Hurrian military system, which adds another layer of complexity to understanding their identity. Regional powers, particularly the mighty Assyrians, often impeded their expansion. Notably, during the reigns of Sargon the Great and Naram Sin, the Akkadian rulers waged successful wars in northern Mesopotamia, which likely saw the defeat of several Hurrian city-states. Nagar, one such city-state, even became an Akkadian regional capital. As the Akkadian kingdom crumbled around 2190 BCE, the Hurrians seized the opportunity to fill the power vacuum in Mesopotamia. While there was no formal Hurrian empire, some independent city-states ruled by Hurrian kings possibly formed a loose confederation. Others, however, found themselves in conflict with each other. During this period, Uruk and Nagar continued to shine as crucial Hurrian centers. This era is documented through scattered fragments of inscriptions that provide glimpses of their vibrant society. Despite new threats from Sumer in the last century of the 3rd millennium BCE, the Hurrian heartlands, particularly their capital Uruk, remained unscathed. Under the rule of King Tishatal, Nineveh came under Hurrian control, and their influence might have even extended to Haha in western Iran. In the heart of the 2nd millennium BCE, the Hurrians embarked on a grand journey that would leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. Their migration took them into the lands of northern Syria and eastern Anatolia as they ventured westward and southward. This epic trek was not a singular tale of conquest but a harmonious blend of military campaigns and the peaceful migration of Hurrian merchants, farmers, skilled artisans, and nomads. The fertile region of Hanagalbat, nestled in Upper Mesopotamia, emerged as the heartland of the mighty Mitanni kingdom, which blossomed from approximately 1500 to 1240 BCE. The Mitanni kingdom was predominantly steeped in Hurrian culture. However, as the 16th and 15th centuries BCE unfolded, tensions began to brew between the Mitanni and the Hittite Empire, which spanned from approximately 1700 to 1200 BCE. These hostilities were merely a continuation of the long-standing conflicts between the Hittites and the Hurrians, which had simmered since the 17th century BCE. The lands of Syria were often a hotbed of contention. Amid this strife, something remarkable occurred. As more Hurrians found themselves under Hittite dominion, elements of Hurrian culture began to spread further westward. The exchange of deities between these two cultures and others in the region became a testament to the fluidity of cultural assimilation. For instance, the Hurrian storm god Tesub found himself intertwined with the Anatolian god of similar function, Tarhunza. Once again, the Hurrian culture was on a transformative journey, weaving itself into the fabric of both allies and adversaries across the region. The mid-13th century BCE marked a pivotal moment as Assyria and Hatti conquered and divided the Mitanni kingdom. Under the watchful eyes of the Hittites and Assyrians, the Hurrian language and culture endured. As the sands of time flowed into the 1st millennium BCE, the Hurrians gradually merged into the cultures of the region. Yet, they did so with grace, leaving behind traces of their heritage that would continue to influence their successors. For instance, the god Tesub evolved into Tesheba in the religious beliefs of the Urartu civilization. This powerful civilization flourished from the 9th to the 6th century BCE across ancient eastern Turkey, Armenia, and western Iran. Elements of Hurrian mythology and literature also found new life as they were translated and preserved by Hittite scribes. Ultimately, these cherished narratives embarked on a journey of their own, crossing the Aegean Sea to inspire the rich mythology of archaic Greece. The epic migration of the Hurrians thus became a tapestry interwoven with the threads of countless civilizations, leaving an enduring legacy that would shape the ancient world for centuries to come.